Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to our second broadcast of the evening. Welcome back to the Platinum StarCraft 2 League June 2025 edition. Welcome back to your monthly dose of Platinum StarCraft League. Here we go. I'm of course your side VIP with you. I'm joined by these amazing players, by the people in chats, and by my plushies as well. Welcome one and all to some more StarCraft here tonight. Again, this is the June edition of the Platinum StarCraft League here in July, of course. For those that are curious, this is a monthly tournament. A big shout out to Platinum Esports and to the Platinum Heroes for hosting, for organizing this event, and for reaching out and for allowing us to be a part of the broadcast as well. I do know that in months past, we have had Rotterdam or Dave Tessa or some other community casters take part in the event and actually broadcast this to you live. So a big shout out to all those behind the initiative of the tournament. And also, welcome one and all. There's a lot to get into for now, though. First things first, we have our first series, we have our first matchup, and this morning in the top left-hand corner of Maganatha, we have the Italian Protoss player. We have the red Protoss representing the Platinum Heroes. It is LetaleX. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Polish Protoss player, the pink Polish Protoss. It is ArT. Also for the Platinum Heroes, here we go. The PvPs are upon us. Exclamation mark, be in the chat to have a look at the back of yourselves as the bracket is live, the bracket is stacked, and we are jumping into the round of 16. Of course, we have plenty more matches ahead of us, and we'll be delving into those matches momentarily. We'll get there, of course. We'll get over the brackets. Meanwhile, if you want to support the tournament even further, there are other commands, of course, as well. Exclamation mark, Matcherino. As unlike for our events, these tournaments do actually have some codes available. So, if you head on over to the Matcherino page, there are some free codes you can claim to help boost the prize pool even further and support the event. So again, a big shout out to those working behind the scenes on the Platinum StarCraft League. Oh, as we do dip in, as we do come in for the scouts. First things first, 2 get opener out of LetaleX, 2 get opener out of ArT as well. So far, so good, nothing crazy. Second pylon in the main base of ArT, and likewise second pylon in the main base of LetaleX as well. Second pylons all around, there's no proxy, there are no shenanigans, both players do confirm, and you can see both players getting in position to block and deny the expansion, and to make sure that everything is on the up and up. As our probes are in position, we have a Stalker Sentry opener out of ArT, likewise Stalker Sentry out of LetaleX as well. Standard play all around, non-stop standard opener here. Okay, I'm a little bit in shock, and a nice change of pace. Again, if you were here earlier, we just wrapped up the Sparkling Tuna Cup, which was also plagued with a plethora of PvPs, but it was non-stop aggression out of our players. Here, we're calming down. We got the aggression out of our system, now we're just calming things down, we're slowly building up, getting to a more standard PvP. Both players do expand, no proxies, no shenanigans. We have a Stalker Sentry based opener, which is very much so scouting based, very standard, just to get eyes across the map. Hallucinations are moving out for both players on both sides, just to make sure there's nothing crazy going on. So just really safe standard play out of both LetaleX and ArT, at least so far. We have our first big point of deviation. It is going to be a Twilight Council opener out of ArT, likewise Robo-based opener out of LetaleX as well, so both players taking in different directions, both players taking a different approach. Now going for a Twilight Council, this should be a Blink-based opener. Should be working towards Blink to gain map control and to get into the mid-game and to secure Maganatha. Meanwhile, across the map, going for a Robo opener is a lot more of a safer approach, a lot more of a defensive approach, I should say. Now, this does allow you to open up with a War Prison to harass across the map with the depths, but more importantly, it gives you access to early Immortal production. So on the one hand, you'll have less Stalkers, you'll have a less mobile army, but you'll have a more robust and defensive army instead with those Immortals. Likewise, Forge on the way for +1. It does feel like LetaleX is taking a much more defensive stance here, as ArT will be gaining map control. Blink is on the way. Blink is on the way. There are some niche builds where you can rush into earlier charge or rush into glaze of all things. I mean, hey, we saw that out of Jumi or out of Jumi earlier today. That's not the case here, though. Again, just working towards Blink. We can see ArT being active, does get eyes on 2 adepts on the left-hand side, and will attempt to intercept. Does attempt to win, does. Yeah, it does catch out the adepts. There we go. Nice forest field, nice volley. One adept does go down, and the other barely does escape. But again, 2 adepts can one-shot workers, 1 adept cannot, and is fully hunted down. Nice force field once again. Nice positional play here out of ArT. ArT shuts down the Adepts, third base is being taken. There's your early Immortal production that we did speak on, and again, Immortals, they will continue to build up for LetaleX. As we mentioned, LetaleX is taking a much more defensive stance. He will be taking his own third base, but he's going to be stuck at home for the near future. This eventually will lead into either charge into the mid game, or it can also lead into something more aggressive with Twilight Council into Glaives. We'll get there eventually. For now, ArT is being active, Blink is done in 10 seconds. We don't really expect ArT to break the expansion or to break this third base, but what he can do is poke in, get a Sentry, get a Stalker, and then blink back. As he does break forward, gets a probe. Again, any unit counts. Likewise, he can even bypass the main army. There we go. Hallucination will gain high ground vision, and it can blink directly into the main. Ooh, and the Elixir supply blocked. Yeah, brutal supply block. The army is in position here at the third base. He is not ready in the main. And we're getting ready for the blink. Does dive in. Going for the pylon. Going for the probes. Now with that, he can one-shot workers. Workers going to be going down. Bearing in mind, he can always recall back home. The army does try to respond. He's racing back into his main base. Probes are going down. So far, 4. Ooh, almost 5 probe kills. And there's the recall. And ArT will lose 1 Stalker in the process. Almost 2. Just 1. 1 Stalker for 4 workers. Not a bad trade here for ArT. And again, this is what kind of we're hoping for here. Just speaking of workers, speaking of some key units, behind this we have Charge on the way, +1, working towards the Temple Archives, working towards Archon production. So ArT's building up in towards that mid-game. And so is LetaleX. LetaleX also working towards Charge. As we mentioned, he had 2 options, either to stay on a lower worker count and go into Glaives, or get into a higher worker count, get into Charge, and also get into Archons as well. Now, as I'm building up into that mid-game, I do favor LetaleX's overall army composition. These Immortals, they do add quite a punch here to the army. They're going to be the backbone here of the force of LetaleX, and they can excel, they can do well. That's where Charge comes into play. That's my big concern, actually. We have a big gateway explosion, 4th base is being taken, we're staying on a lower gas count, Prism is on the way, and soon ArT's going to push. How many gateways is he on exactly? 7. So we have 7, soon to be 8 gateways, so 3 bases, 8 gates set up here. Out of ArT, he's going to be pushing, he's going to have a massive amount of zealots to reinforce, and Charge is not yet done for LetaleX. He's a little bit more behind here when it comes to that upgrade of choice, when it comes to that tech. Now, Zealots, they can excel against Blink Stalkers and Immortals, of course. They do a great job at tanking and dealing damage. How do you counter a mass charge load in this matchup? Well, typically Archons. That's why we already have an Archon for ArT. That's why we have a Temple Archives on the way. But remember, this is still seconds late, and every second counts. And here we go. Here come the Mass Zealots. Without any Archons, without that setup here, LetaleX he cannot engage. And the base is going to go down. Massive pickup, 4th base does full. Prism is denied into the main. And honestly, ArT can just keep going. He can just keep on pushing. He can overwhelm the army. I mean, LetaleX is not ready for this. But ArT, he's a little bit more tentative here. I do think that ArT could potentially end the game. He can just push in, he can take the fight, he can break this army. But you can see ArT just backing off, being careful, rotating around. ArT not taking any risks, not taking any chances. Does find a Zealot run by. We'll clean that up first. Now rotates towards the would-be 3rd. Well, the 3rd, the natural. At the same time, Adepts, 2 Adepts even, they do get into the middle line. Probe's going to be going down. That's a lot of economic damage. 9 probe kills across the map. And ArT, where are we headed? I still do favor his position, but now there's 1 Archon to defend. That's better than previously. He's breaking through the force fields, does blink forward. Boys are being pulled into Archons. Ay. And the boys are going to go down. The Immortals are being overwhelmed as well. Force fields are being broken, and ArT, he doesn't. He will break the 3rd. I was a little bit concerned that it was going to be too passive, and he was being very careful, but still good. He still has that killer instinct. GG gets called, and ArT, he will break the 3rd, he will break the 4th, and ArT will take the 1st game. GG. Whew. GG, well played. A solid game 1 here out of ArT. And again, unfortunately, LetaleX, he was just 1 step behind in regards to his tech, in regards to his setup. He did have a similarly timed 3rd base, similarly timed 4th base as well, but he just wasn't ready for that charge timing, wasn't ready for that army. GG. GG, well played. And ArT will claim a lead in the series, but remember, it's a best of 3. Best of 3, we got more games ahead of us, and we'll see if LetaleX can recover and bounce back and force the ace match. Let's go. Let us go, as game 2 is going to be on Tokamak. Oh, okay. So really large maps. Game 1 was on Magnatha. You don't really get much larger than that. Here we're going to be loading into Tokamak, another large map, a little bit more of a defensive one, and we'll see if this leads into another similar game state, or if either player takes the opportunity to go for a proxy. Again, there are a lot of really common proxy locations on Tokamak just because of how large it is, but we'll see if we do commit to something more aggressive this time. So we are loading in. Here we go. Yo, shout out to those in chat. Oh, and I should also make sure that we are... Okay, we're good, we're good. Just make sure we're connected to TL. And spawning in the top right hand corner of Tokamak, we do have our Italian Protoss player. We have the red Protoss down in the series. We'll see if he bounce back. We'll see if he can make a series out of this. Representing the Platinum Heroes, it is LetaleX. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner, we have the pink Polish Protoss player, also representing the Platinum Heroes. It's a lot of P, that's a lot of alliteration. It is ArT, leading the series 1-0. Here we go. And our PvP does continue, and our eyes are on the early workers. LetaleX does move out early on. My eyes are on LetaleX. So we are moving out, so we are being active. So far the probe is just rallied across the map, so nothing crazy. Again, last game we had some very stock standard openers. Going 2-gate opener into expansion, into Twilight Council, into Blink, with there being the Sentry Stalker for the first units of choice. Both players had mirrored builds. Probe Scout comes in. And so far everything's looking normal. Once again, the LetaleX is looking for the second pylon. ArT has the option to maybe even hide the pylon, not even commit to an all-in or commit to a proxy. But for now, also just moving out for a Probe Scout. Okay. So far, so good. But again, shout out to Platinum Esports and Platinum Heroes for hosting and organizing this event. This is kind of a new initiative to how they want to approach 2025. For a long time, they were hosting they were hosting a bunch of in-house tournaments, and they were, of course, supporting their. Oh god, as the probe goes out, nice snipe. They'll snipe the scouting probe. But for a long time, they were hosting their own in-house tournaments and, of course, supporting their players via salary, of course, the players on their teams. But recently, they did decide to actually change that a little bit and start focusing on hosting these monthly tournaments. This is the 3rd edition. Again, previously to this, we had casters like Rotterdam and Dave Testa and other community members and community figures hosting these events. And I believe the plan is to continue to run these tournaments till the end of the year for an end-of-year finals for the Platinum StarCraft League. Exciting stuff. Exciting stuff. If you want to help support these tournaments, and we'll be getting into greater detail later, but there is a Ko-Fi, not a Patreon. There's no Patreon for it, but there's a Ko-Fi which is very similar. Support the tournament to support their endeavors. So do consider checking it out. As for now, once again, standard openers. There is going to be the initial Robo from LetaleX, so same build, same setup. It does take the expansion. I believe he did go for a slightly faster base. Yep, he did. Double Sentry. We saw a double Sentry opener here out of LetaleX instead, so faster expansion. Likewise, it scouts across the map, and it is going to be a Stargate opener out of ArT. Stargates into Oracle instead. No fast blink this time. With this, LetaleX should have the slightly better economy, as he has the faster base. The base is already done, and the natural base is still on the way for ArT, so he's still in production. But the way to make up for that is the Oracle. The Oracle's here to get economic damage done. Speaking of, does get in between the bases. I'd have to say shade into the mineral line. Probe's going to be going down so far. 1, 2, 3 probe kills already. Ooh, the Oracle does take a lot of damage though. Oh no! And the Oracle does not overextend. I mean, it does take a lot of hits, but that's going to be 5 worker kills. The Oracle gets away. We have a second Oracle coming in, and 2 Oracles, they can one-shot probes. Together they can one-shot workers. So shields are regenerating. ArT does rotate towards the natural. Sentry's trying to keep up. And he's spotted. I could even try to go for the sentries, but is going to back off for the time being. And even though ArT had a much later natural base, he's caught up worker-wise. Oh, let's go check in. Gets one, gets two more probes. Takes a lot of damage, but does get away. Second Oracle comes back in. 3 probe kills. ArT takes a lead. ArT does take a lead, reinforcing with more Stalkers. And this time we have both players getting into Blink. Okay, even though that LetaleX did go for a Robo opener, he goes Robo into a much faster Twilight Council into Blink Stalkers. Both players taking in very similar directions. But of course, with ArT having that slight worker advantage. Third bases are on the way. Blink is still going to be slightly faster for ArT. And he's going to be active with it. He's moving out. Let's Oracle into the main. 3 more probes. Ooh, 1 Oracle finally goes down, but at this point it has paid for itself. And can we force a cancel? It's going to be ambitious. Instead, it does kill the shield battery. Shield battery goes down. ArT is going to be reinforcing across the map. At the same time, we have double adept threatening a shade towards the natural. Remember, 2 probes that can one-shot workers. ArT does get a sentry though. Oh, does retarget. Gets a Stalker. Has yet to lose anything so far. Nice control. Stalkers are getting low. ArT does pull away. At the same time, adepts do shade in between the bases. And there's some damage being dealt, but the adepts are going to be cleaned up. They get 3 probe kills. Okay, they get 4. Oh, not quite. 4 workers go down. ArT's still ahead in the worker count. Works in between the bases. Doesn't quite get the sentry or the Stalker, but does get 3 probes. And pulling back, pulling away. Oracle does find some more damage. And ArT just all over the LetaleX. It's no major big wins here and there, but it all slowly adds up. Getting 1 or 2 workers here and there. ArT now up by 5. Here comes a follow-up. Charge on the way, +1 on the way. We spoke about this big power spike in PvP last game, how Charge does allow you to trade or to out-trade to be more efficient against a Stalker Immortal heavy composition, and we're getting there again. Whereas LetaleX, he does not have Charge. Stuck with Blink, building up Immortals. But ArT's taking up, he's refining his army. Not just taking into Charge, but also getting to his own Temple Archives into Archon production as well. So I'm liking ArT's overall position. He doesn't just have a greater economy, but with that greater economy, he's getting into a more refined army. It's taking up. Meanwhile, LetaleX is going to be stuck with purely Blink Stalker. He is not expanding, not getting a 4th base. Gateway explosion behind this. How many gateways in total? 6, soon to be 9? Jesus. that's a high gateway count. Let's go. At this point, LetaleX essentially going for a 3-base all-in. As behind this, he's on, 7 gateways. He's on 7 gates, does move out. Stasis will delay. We have an 8th gateway on the way, so 3-base, 8 gates all in here at LetaleX with Mass Blink Stalker. And can he hit ArT just before there's too many of those mass amount of charge lots? Now the 4th base doesn't matter, bear that in mind. Remember, this is a 3-base all in, so the 4th doesn't really matter. Does tank a lot. Charge will say dive in, going for the Immortal's gonna go down. And starts to do well tanking. Yeah, they tank well here. As more Stalkers do fall, we do go for a reinforcing wave of Stalkers. Prism goes down, no more reinforcements. And these also do such a great job tanking the Archons as well. And you can just see how much more efficient ArT's army is. I was concerned that ArT wasn't ready in time. I was concerned that he didn't have enough Zealots. He had plenty. He saves the expansion as well, bearing in mind that he didn't need to. LetaleX was that much more committed, that much more all-in. Killing the base was not going to be enough to allow him to recover. But ArT even saves it. Saves the 4th. Builds up a greater army, and again, LetaleX does feel like he did miss that window of opportunity. Now going for a split push. Can still get the expansion. Okay, not bad. Nexus will go down. There's a recall. Takes down the expansion. But this is where the soup is not lying. this is where the army of ArT is getting out of control, is getting out of hand. Sure, he lost the expansion, but LetaleX doesn't even have a fourth. Doesn't have a fourth base, doesn't have any kind of refined army here. Stuck on Pure Blink Stalker. And here comes ArT. Just bullying back LetaleX. From here, he can just blink on forward, he can chase him down. There's the blink. LetaleX, he's going to be losing pros behind this. We have a War Prism into the main. We have Zealous of the Natural in the main base as well. Everything's blinking red. Everything's on fire. And GG gets caught. LetaleX is just torn apart. And ArT, he will take the series 2-0, advancing on to the quarterfinals. GG. Whew. GG, well played, congratulations ArT, he will claim the series, he will advance on, and my condolences to LetaleX, as LetaleX, he did hold his own for a time, and again, he had a really, I respect his approach here, like he didn't try to cheese ArT out, he didn't go for hyper aggression. For the most part, in game 1 especially, we had almost mirrored builds, like both players, they had their own kind of approach to get into the mid game. Here I will say 3-base all in. Right here for game 2, he went for a 3-base all-in, but again, it does feel like he missed his window, he missed his timing. By the time he got across the map, it was already too late. It was already too late. ArT, he was already set up with his charge ults, with his Archons, with a greater army. GG. GG, well played. And with that, ArT does advance on, and let's follow ArT into the rest of the brackets. Let's go. Exclamation mark B in the chat to have a look at the back yourselves.